2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
There we go. We are live.
Welcome back to the 2021 Virginia Solar Summit. Bear with us. We're working our way through some of the wrinkles of modern technology. I mentioned it's a renaissance, but it's not perfect. So we're trying to get Miss Laura Strine, her audio and her video all plugged in, and we are actually moments away. So just bear with us. I want to thank everyone again for dialing back in, all of our terrific sponsors and our co-hosts and all the incredible speakers. If you missed anything in the AM block, we were recording live. We were live streaming on YouTube, and we still are. And you'll be able to access these things afterwards, as well as their presentations and even some bonus materials, including from our friends in the Commonwealth and the federal government, including US EPA, producing a lot of things, as you heard. They'll have a lot of incredible programs. They even offer free technical assistance. They have nerds standing by to take your questions. And it's one of the places, I think one of my favorite quotes of the morning is, somehow in this redevelopment space and solar renewable redevelopment, Congress has had an epiphany, and it had it a few years ago. And so we're stepping in with on the shoulders of some great work that's being done, including by currently now being led by our next speaker, Laura Strine, who's taken over the helm as the team lead at Repowering America's Land, which is one of my favorite programs in government and is providing a lot of terrific, useful, practical information to help people, go from conception to completion down this solar redevelopment pathway and all the sticky wickets that you might encounter along the way. So Laura, let me bring you into the conversation and test your audio. How are you? You're on mute now. Here we go.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Laura, there you are. Gotcha. And your presentation.
Great. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, coming through loud and clear from your mobile, and we appreciate you working through our technical difficulties. But we got you loud and clear now, and I'll just let you take it away.
Thank you. Wow. Thanks so much, Dan. It's so great to be here with everybody. I want to thank you so much for inviting us to present at the Virginia Solar Summit. My name is Laura Strine. I work for the US EPA's Repowering America's Land initiative. And I want to say hello to Vince and all of the Virginia brownfields and the Virginia pollinator folks. It's so great to see you today. I was listening to most of the conversation earlier today and just super impressed with all the progress that is being made in Virginia. And I'm actually calling here from Arlington, where I live. So that's exciting because this is my home state now. So I wanted to do a quick pop quiz before we get started. I wanted to ask the participants if in the chat as we go along, they can answer 2 questions after lunch. I figured we'd do a little wake up. The first question is, what is the state with the most number of renewable energy sites already developed on brownfields? And the second question is, how many sites have been developed in Virginia? So the first question is, what is the state with the most number of renewable energy projects on brownfields? And the second is, how many sites have been developed in Virginia? You can put that in the chat as we go along. So this is an overview of my presentation. We'll do a little introduction. We'll talk about tools and training. We'll talk about benefits and trends, policy impacts, and finally, the really fun stuff, the project examples. So one of the things I wanted to clarify right away was I'll use the term repowering in this presentation. This word means siting renewable energy resources on land with perceived or actual contamination. And I know it has other meanings in the energy world, but I just wanted to clarify that term. So Repowering America's Land Initiative is located in the Office of Land and Emergency Management, or OLEM. Part of OLM's mission is to encourage redevelopment of all kinds of contaminated lands or perceived contaminated lands, Superfund, brownfield, landfills, RCRA sites, mine sites, and many more. And OLM has other programs that focus on broader topics of site redevelopment. You heard Patricia Overmeyer earlier today talk about the Brownfields program. Repowering America's Land is specifically focused on renewable energy development at sites. The Superfund program also has alternative energy tracking, and Brownfields, of course, has a lot of opportunities for grant resources. So this program ties them all together on renewable energy. We are very focused on the community at Repowering America's Land Initiative. And like Patricia also mentioned, we are trying to encourage development of renewable energy at formerly contaminated sites when it aligns with the community's vision for the site. So this is a good example of some of the benefits of redevelopment with renewables. I'll let you take a look at this on your own time. There's, sustainable land development. There's low-cost power, integrating existing infrastructure at brownfields or other contaminated sites, protecting open space, and lots of other benefits to the community. So that's why we promote this type of activity. One of the things that we focus on at Repowering America's Land Initiative is working with our partners. We've had great success recently with solar economic feasibility studies that are conducted with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. The Becker County landfill is one of our recent economic feasibility studies. We also provided technical assistance to the Minnesota Solar on Landfill study, and we have provided technical assistance to the Colorado Brightfields initiative, which is encompasses a state mapping tool, which is a really exciting mapping tool that gets into a lot of the detail on particular sites and screening for renewable energy potential. And in July, we had a really great webinar with our partners at Virginia DEQ and DCR on their Pollinator Smart program. I was really excited to talk about this because of my love of butterflies and bees and flowers. And those are just some of the great things that we get to talk about with through some of our outreach and engagement. And we also work a lot with the technical assistance for brownfields, the groups that are out in the field helping communities with their brownfields projects. So on to tools and training. We have quite a lot of tools and training on our website. I would very much encourage you to look at our website, and in particular, a very popular tool is our Repowering Mapper tool. This is an inventory of sites across the country. We will be updating this tool this year. One of the best things about this tool is that it's inspiring other more detailed mapper tools, such as the Nature Conservancy has Mining the Sun map, and the Colorado Brightfields mapping tool has more detailed information than we could provide in our national mapper. So you should look for an update later in 2021 of this mapper, and we will be reaching out to the Department of Mines, Minerals, and Energy and the Division of Mineral Mining in Virginia to help assist with sharing information on sites in Virginia. Our training is a really great place to start. We have 2 trainings on our website. One is land use considerations. This is a great overview of site development. If you have a team of people that you're looking to educate, say project leaders and site owners or municipal employees, this is a great way to get everybody on the same page with a basic knowledge and understanding of how to develop sites and what to think about in terms of renewable energy. And this is also a great place to start if you're looking for project ideas. It also covers a lot of cross sections of issues that are very complicated and brings them.
Uh-oh. Hang on, Laura, we lost your audio if you can hear me. Laura? Can we get Laura's audio back? Awesome. Bear with us for just a second. So there we go. Got you back. Midstream with great resources. Make sure you check out this website now. Your tax dollars at work, and will really be illuminating, puns intended. Hey, Laura, welcome back.
Dan, can you hear me?
Yep, we lost you hard about 90 seconds ago, but you're back.
Okay, I'll keep going.
Thanks.
So sorry about that. So our trainings are a great place to start and a great place to get an entire team on the same page. They cover a lot of crossover issues. This is a topic where, a lot of complex energy and land issues converge. So these are a great way to get everybody on the same page, learning the issues if you have a project that you're about to undertake. It also provides a lot of links to the rest of our website. So it's a great way to basically take an overview tour of Repowering America's Land Initiative tools and resources on the website. And it's free, of course. And we also have a training called Interconnection and Electricity Sales that will help get a little bit deeper into the interconnection issues and also provide ideas for electricity sales options for your project. So please check out our training. Okay, benefits. So there are lots of benefits from repowering sites. The tracking and benefits matrix are lists of sites where we list and analyze data from sites across the country. There are reports that are basically, we basically release them every year with updated information on some of the latest trends and information on repowering sites. We often collect this information from publicly available websites. If you see site examples that you know about that are not included in these tools and resources, please let us know. Send us your site information. Also, every year we produce the feasibility studies. Like I said, we did one this year on the Becker landfill in Minnesota. Please reach out to us if you're interested in learning more about the studies. And if you have a site that you're interested in having a solar or renewable energy feasibility study conducted at. We also share a lot of case studies. We'll get into some later on in the presentation. And we have a report on critical infrastructure. This looks at the issue of resiliency and how to power a community's critical infrastructure needs with repowering sites. And coming soon, we will be updating one of our most popular best practices documents. It's called Best Practices for Solar on Landfills. So we're working on that update now. Okay, completed projects. So this is a map that shows over 400 renewable energy projects, all on formerly contaminated properties. In total, the installed capacity at these projects is over 1.8 gigawatts of capacity. I was listening, very interesting, found it very interesting earlier to hear that we're going to need, I think, 4 times that amount of gigawatt installed capacity for renewables just in the state of Virginia going forward. So this is a great, way to have a demonstration and show that all of these different technologies are possible and that they are happening across the country. We have lots of great information. This comes right out of our tracking matrix. And you can see here that there are many different policy tools that have helped these projects along the way. We have the production tax credit, and then we have various state programs that were enacted along the way as well. And solar is one of the most popular technologies. Solar represents most of the sites across the country. Wind is also a very popular technology. The wind sites are smaller in number, but they are much greater in capacity. And you can see here that the solar trends tend to be between 1 and 5 megawatt installations. We do expect to see more installations in the 2018, 2019, 2020 timeframe. The way we collect the information basically lends itself to having a little bit of a lag in projects counted. So, if you look at the trend, that's the most important thing. And over time, we expect the last couple of years to fill in more projects as we go along. So the renewable energy incentives and policies in various states are, really driving a lot of these projects. We have a lot of information on interconnection. We have a recent paper on interconnection and electricity sales, and a recent paper on the value of existing infrastructure for renewable energy development. There are a lot of really great ways to reuse the interconnection that often already occurs at brownfields and formerly contaminated lands. And this interconnection process to the electricity grid can be very time consuming and very costly. So there's a lot to consider, and we broke that down a lot in this paper and in the training module. The 2018 Build Act provides additional tools for local entities to use when redeveloping sites, and Patricia talked about this earlier. This is a link to some additional information. You can see that there is now an exemption for local governments that acquire these types of properties. And liability issues can be very, there can be a lot to unfold. So if you have any questions about liability issues at a particular site or just in general, please reach out to either the EPA regional contact for Repowering America's Land Initiative, which is found on the website, or you can always feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have. We'd be happy to help. Okay, on to policy impacts. So policy impacts are something that we are very interested in, again, because as you see, the number of projects directly relates with the longstanding policies of particular states. And so we are trying to gather very detailed information about the state policies in Massachusetts and New York and other states to be able to share that information across the country. And I was listening earlier today. There's so much great policy work going on in Virginia and West Virginia. And it may be the case that, you know, there are some examples that we want to share from your state's perspective with other states that are beginning along different projects and policies. So we will definitely be keeping an eye on what's going on in your states to help share that information. So we've begun to conduct some in-depth interviews with agency heads and other key stakeholders in Massachusetts and New York. We've been identifying common features, and we've been using this information to help inform other initiatives such as the Minnesota Brightfields Initiative. And these are some of the great things that our stakeholders have to say about the programs. Streamlined permitting is really important. You've been talking a lot about that. And net metering is really important. And lots of other really important pieces that are pretty much already going on, it sounds like, in Virginia, but you might want to take a look at these. And if you have any questions for me, or if you'd like the more detailed information, I'd be happy to share that with you. One of the most common elements across successful state policies is basically leadership and the ability to have leaders at all levels of government and even outside the government to help foster these programs. So these are some of the elements of a successful state program. And it sounds like you have a lot of these in place, so you might just want to take a look at this. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so for the fun stuff, the project examples. So again, Repowering tracks and publishes a lot of information about completed projects. You'll find really in-depth information in our tracking and benefits matrix that you can find on our website. These are just some very high-level examples, but basically, if you're looking for a project example, we definitely can help you. So if you have a particular type of site that you're looking for a comparison on, please let us know. We have, you can see there are lots of different site types that are already developed. Landfills are the most frequent, brownfields, there are many types of all different kinds of sites. And it's really less important, the actual numbers here, and more important that they are demonstrated as successful projects. One of the types of examination we're going to have going forward is looking at the transition away from fossil energy. There are many communities, you have been talking about a lot of this today, mine communities, for example, And Repowering America's Land Initiative has great examples of projects that are already existing that have reduced costs, reduced power costs in the communities, that have generated revenue, that have generated jobs, mostly upfront jobs, but sometimes long-term jobs in the communities. So we have lots of examples, and we look forward to working with stakeholders going forward on these efforts. For brownfields in particular, there are lots of really great ways to reuse brownfields, and renewable energy is one of them. And there's lots of different ways to incorporate energy efficiency and renewable energy into brownfields. So, take into consideration the particular specifications at your site. You can look at different ways to incorporate renewable energy into buildings. You can look at building efficiency. You can look at lots of different ways. So if you need examples or also inspiration, we're here. Please reach out to us for that as well. And this is one example of a brownfield in EPA Region 3, the American Public University System in West Virginia. It was a former contaminated and vacant property. It received 3 assessment grants, an area-wide planning grant, and a revolving loan fund grant. And now it has an active center with academic center and financial center with solar panels, and they are saving a lot of money on their energy costs going forward. We also have some examples of sites where we have performed screening assessments. The Mount Kisco landfill in New York is one. And, we're really working to get down on the ground level to help as much as possible with redevelopment of sites with renewable energy. Environmental justice is another focus of our current administration. The Norwood Landfill Community Solar is a great example of helping low-income residents with their electricity bills, and this is a former contaminated property. When they completed this project, they reused a landfill. They have provided solar jobs. They are providing reduced energy costs for customers. So this is a great site example in our Region 8 EPA Colorado office. So this is our homepage, and on our homepage, on our website, you can get to the Repowering America's Land listserv. I encourage you to please sign up. We don't send out many emails, but when we do, we will tell you about hopefully our new webinar on interconnection that's coming up in May, and lots of other resources for you to make use of as they come out. Thank you so much. And I guess, I don't know if there's a way to see the chat, but I was curious about how many people answered the pop quiz questions of what is the state with the largest number of sites redeveloped with renewable energy, and the question about how many sites were developed in Virginia. Do you guys have any responses on that?
Yeah, we got a few. Texas, New Jersey, California, a few votes for California. And then numbers wise, 6, 4. So, yeah.
Well, awesome. So the answer to the first question is Massachusetts. Massachusetts has over a third of the redeveloped sites with renewable energy across the country. They have had a long-standing program and incentives, and they have a lot of leadership in their state. So it is a little bit surprising, I know, to have Massachusetts come in as number one, but it really illustrates that you can really provide and have great incentives and produce these projects anywhere. And the second answer is 4. So congratulations to whoever got that. Very good. You have 4 sites in Virginia that we know about. And if you know about more, we'd love to hear about them. So please send them along.
Thanks, Laura. Yeah, and I don't want to steal too much time, but just one question. You made a very important comment, which is that the number of sites isn't so much as the evidence of success on the different kind of subspecies of sites that exist out there in the broad taxonomy that is land use. And can you help us think about that taxonomy a little bit more? Because earlier this morning we heard that a lot of brownfields are remote and they're not next to load, but you mentioned that a lot of brownfields are near in and very close to load. So are they 2 different types of sites? Do brownfields of a feather tend to cluster together, or what's happening here?
Well, that's a really good question, Dan. I mean, it really comes down to site specifics, but our mapping tool is a great way to find out, if a site is near to load, or near to the, a grid interconnection. So I think that, there can be also battery installations that can occur, or off-grid off-takers for the electricity. If Virginia is thinking about manufacturing seeds, for example, for their pollinator program, maybe there's a farm nearby who could use the power. I mean, it really depends on what the local needs are. So I think there's a lot of need for electricity all across the country. And while it is true that there are places where the electricity is more expensive and more needed, I think going forward, we're going to see a lot more innovative thinking around co-locating and, electricity and energy needs.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Laura. A terrific presentation and really an unparalleled a bastion of resources, and I know that the work is ongoing too. So just bravo and kudos. I've really enjoyed watching the program develop as kind of this interagency collaboration. It's emblematic, I think, of a lot of the types of solutions that we're going to need to scale up solar and renewables the right way. And I just wish you the best of luck. And I can't stress enough to everybody who's watching now that Laura's available, her and her team, and they have folks kind of tagged in each region on this. So wherever you are, if you heard the conversation earlier about resources available for brownfields, it's true on brightfields too. The public sector is out there to help you start to walk down this very bright path.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.